You can buy a lot for £30, like a bouquet of roses for your partner, half a tank of petrol so you can get to work, or a load of novelty decks of cards. £30 also happens to be exactly how much my Patreon earns each month. I know. Bragging. So this month I decided that rather than buy a deck of cards, I'd use the money in a way that would push me out of my comfort zone. So here's the situation. Charlie is in my office there right now, booking me a flight for tomorrow, and I have no idea where I'm going. And I don't know how I feel about this. You see, Charlie was on Skyscanner where she searched flights going anywhere and organised by cheapest, and she found return flights to a mystery destination for only £30, but there was a twist. She won't send me my boarding pass out until I get to the airport, and I won't be getting a return boarding pass at all if I didn't complete 3 mystery challenges she'd set me. The next morning, I made my way to the train station where I was able to get this shot of me waiting for the train to the airport like I didn't know the camera was there, as well as this shot where I managed to crop out my head as I watched the train come into the station. So here I am at Manchester Airport with no idea where I'm going. The only thing I know is that I need to be at Terminal 3 because that's what Charlie told me, but I haven't received my boarding pass from her yet, so I guess go in and try and figure out where we're going. I filmed in an awkward spot, sorry. If I had to take a guess, it's a cheap flight, so my guess is Ryanair. So that doesn't really help. I could still be going anywhere. Right, Charlie has sent through the boarding pass. I haven't opened it yet because I feel unreasonably nervous about this and where I'm going, but I mean, I need to find out because I need to go and get on my flight. So I guess open it up now and see where we're going. Here we go. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, that's a good one. That's a good one, right. Let's go. Okay, I clearly need to work on making my reactions bigger for YouTube, but I was really excited for the destination and I decided not to share it at that point for the sake of retention, even though you'll know where I'm going in a matter of seconds. I got on the plane where I was pleased to see I'd gotten a window seat because I love watching the plane take off, and before I knew it, I had arrived. And now I'm here in Dublin. There isn't a sign there, but I couldn't find a sign anywhere, so just imagine that there's a sign there. But I am now stuck here in Dublin. I can't just go home, and I'll explain more about that later, but until then, I've got to figure out a way into the city. I have no idea how far from the city I am. I used my cunning to figure out that the Dublin Express would probably take me into Dublin, where I'd figure out what the hell I was going to do here. So I found myself, I think, in a museum garden. I'll be completely honest with you though, I didn't know where to go because I don't know where I'm staying tonight. Charlie has booked some accommodation for me this evening and I haven't had that through from her yet, but I came to this museum garden because just over there is the Guinness factory, and I figured what better way to start my tour of Dublin than near the Guinness factory. So I do have a flight home that Charlie has booked from me, but she hasn't given me the boarding pass yet, and she will not give it to me until I complete the challenges in these envelopes. And I suppose the point of the challenges really was to help me explore Dublin a bit more, and I guess go out of my comfort zone a bit and maybe meet some people. Not that coming out here by myself isn't out of my comfort zone enough, but yeah, I can't go home until I complete these 3 challenges and a bonus challenge. But I think I have to do the bonus challenge anyway, so it's 4 challenges. Naturally, we start with challenge 1, which is... You have up to £10 for materials to make a hat. It must look Irish. Now find 5 statues, doff your hat to them, and take a selfie with them while wearing your hat. Make sure you know why they are there. I proceeded to open challenge 2 and 3, but we'll get into those later. Right, I guess I better find the materials for an Irish-looking hat, which should be easy. There should be materials for the Irish-looking hat shop. Just find one of them. I jumped onto Google Maps and started searching for craft shops and noticed a perfect shop, so I nonchalantly walked past the camera as I made my way through a city I'd never been to before, despite being part Irish. I arrived at the Irish Celtic Craft Shop, which couldn't have sounded like a better location for someone trying to make an Irish hat. But it wasn't. It was just a gift shop, and the next place I tried to find either no longer existed or was actually an accounting firm. But I eventually found a shopping centre which could double as a Wes Anderson film set, and after what felt like hours of walking around, I found a shop with the materials necessary to start my challenge. I grabbed some bits, which is when Charlie texted me booking details for my evening's accommodation, so I made my way there so I could make my hat, nervous about what accommodation I might find. Ta-da! I'm in a hostel, and you can tell that no one else is in this room yet because I wouldn't have the nerve to do that if other people were in here. Yeah, Charlie's booked me a hostel for tonight, and at first I was a bit anxious about that when I saw that because I don't really like sharing rooms with lots of people. Very antisocial of me, I know, but it's a 4-bed dorm. Got a little privacy curtain over here, look, in a gorgeous golden colour there. I do also have a desk, which means it's the perfect place to make which means it's the perfect place to make my hat. So the phrase I'm keeping in mind for this challenge is keep it simple. I've gone for Irish colours to just make a very simple hat, something that I can just pop on when I find a statue, doff my cap, and then find out about the statue. So in theory, I'll just roll this up, and that should be it. Now I know I look like an artistic genius, however crafts aren't my forte. I can however be resourceful. Got a padlock with me, so I'm going to use that as a saw. So I spent the next half hour making the perfect hat. Something that screamed class, sophistication, something you'd be proud to wear in public, and it's safe to say I succeeded. And there we have it, the perfect Irish cap. And if you don't mind me saying so, it's the fanciest cap I've seen in a while. Now all I needed to do was head out and find some statues, which after a lot of walking around was proving a lot harder than you might imagine.
Got this weird giant sculpture thing here, but no statues. Why is this so hard? I've managed to find loads of these like grand old buildings, but none of them seem to have any statues.
But after spending some time filming my feet and making friends with a seagull, my luck started to turn round.
Hang on a minute, I have found not one, but two statues. Hang on, let me show you. I couldn't figure out who these guys were, so I downloaded this app here, which hopefully will help me.
And thanks to the magic of the internet, I now seem like someone who knew what they were talking about.
So it turns out this fella here is Oliver Goldsmith, who is an Anglo-Irish poet, playwright from the 1700s. So, Oliver Goldsmith, doff my cap. I think that's what doffing my cap means. And this here is Edmund Burke, who was an Anglo-Irish statesman and philosopher, and he was born here in Dublin, also in the 1700s. So Edmund Burke, I also doff my cap, sort of clumsily, but I doffed it.
Now that the statue challenge was well and truly underway, I started getting hungry, so I headed out for some authentic Irish cuisine, and once I demolished my meal, I realised it was getting to the best point in the day to try and take on my second challenge.
Challenge 2 is...
get a high five from 5 different strangers and ask them where you can find the best Guinness in Dublin. Get a Guinness anywhere and strike up a conversation with someone while you drink it. Could be the bar person, just have a chat.
Alright, I'm gonna try. Oh, no, I'm not. These girls that just went past, I was going to try it with them, and then I realised they were mid-flow and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
This was definitely the challenge I was the most anxious about. Everyone I met in Dublin had been lovely, and yet the idea of walking up to people and asking for a high five filled me with dread.
Oh, this is so embarrassing. Why am I so embarrassed?
I headed to the Temple Bar area of town as I thought I'd come across people who'd had a few beers and would therefore be easier to approach.
Maybe if I just stand here, I can get some high fives from people as they go past. All right, I'll try. Can I get a high five? No? Cheers, thank you. Do you know where the best place to get Guinness is?
Stag's Head.
Stag's Head, thank you very much.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. That felt good. There was 4 high fives and 1 recommendation, so I think I need to get 4 more. But, that's good.
I cannot overstress how much confidence this gave me, and after that point, the high fives came flying in.
High five?
Hey, what can I do it?
Yeah.
Look at how we do over here. Bang.
Where's the best place to get a Guinness this side of town?
Diamonds or El Dublin.
$5 bucks? Do you know where the best place to get Guinness this side of town is? Lost count of high fives now, and I've had 4 recommendations for pubs, so I think I just need 1 more recommendation, 1 more person to recommend, and then I'm going to find somewhere to go. Oh, give us a high five. Or one of those. Where's the best place to get a Guinness round here? Like, the best place?
And with that half of the task complete, I was able to head to the original recommendation, the Stag's Head, for my first Guinness of the trip. But there was no one to talk to without feeling like I was being rude, and the barman was super busy. I was back to feeling anxious and was worried that I wouldn't complete the task when a couple of seats at the bar became free, so I took my chance to dive in. The barman disappeared, which gave me the chance to practice my killer opening line.
Quiet one.
And just like that, I had completed my first full challenge and my first full day in Dublin.
So it's day 2 of my trip here in Dublin, Ireland, and I go back today in theory. Charlie has booked me a flight which leaves in about 10 hours time, but I need to complete challenges before I can get on that flight.
This is probably a good time to introduce Challenge 3. Eat a proper full Irish breakfast. Maybe an Irish coffee chaser, or just coffee, or Guinness.
Could I get a medium breakfast and a coffee, please?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty easy challenge, or at least it would have been had it not been for the size of the breakfast.
Oh God, I'm so full. I am so full. And I went for the medium breakfast. What would happen to me if I had the large? That's ridiculous.
Realistically, I've got 7 hours before I need to make my way to the airport, and I need to take 3 selfies with statues in that hat, doffing my cap. So I don't think that's going to be too hard, but I need to do that before I can unlock the bonus challenge, and I have no idea if that's going to be hard or not.
So I'm just going to lie here dying for a bit, and then I'll crack on with it. The next shot will be of me telling you what a statue is. This here is Daniel O'Connell, who was Lord Mayor of Dublin between 1841 and 1842. Daniel O'Connell, I doff my cap.
And whilst I make my way to the next statue, I just want to say thank you to my supporters on Patreon for making this video possible. Although I did carbon offset the flight and the accommodation wasn't the cheapest, and I bought meals and things for the challenges, so yeah, check out my Patreon. On to statue 4.
This here is Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, protector of Gotham. So, hat doth earned. And finally, this here is Thomas More, who was an Irish poet. Hang on, I need to remember my fact now. And the final one is this one here, who is Thomas More, who was an Irish writer, poet and lyricist who was born here in Dublin in 1879. So, doff my hat to you, Thomas More. Could have sent me to sunny Spain, but no, it's cold, I have to put my coat on. So I wasted a lot of time today. I've only got a few hours now until I have to go to the airport, so I think it's time to see what Charlie's bonus challenge is.
Before you get your flight home, you need to buy your wife a gift that symbolises your trip, and on the plane write an Irish ditty about your trip to tell her when you see her. You have £5.
Classic Charlie trying to extort me.
Fortunately, I knew the best place to go to get a gift, and even better, I knew exactly what to get her. Finishing my challenges with time to spare meant that I could squeeze the most out of Dublin, complete with a load more new statues, shots of me nonchalantly walking past the camera, and a trip to see my new friends at the Stag's Head for another Guinness before heading to the park to get a head start on my Irish ditty. It's weird, now that it's time for me to leave Dublin and go home, I can't really remember what I was so nervous about before I came. And I guess that sometimes it's scary to do things that are spontaneous, but if anything, this trip has proved that I should do it more often. I also think it's fair to say that it's good to challenge ourselves, because even a small challenge like getting a high five can seem so rewarding.
As you can see, I'm grinning about that.
So let me leave you with this Irish ditty. There once was a man from Britain who had the courage of a kitten. He got a high five and felt so alive and went home feeling smitten. To be fair, that last line didn't really scan, and I think that was more of a limerick than a ditty, but I don't really know what the difference is, but I've got to go get my flight home, so see ya. Obviously I need to take all my stuff, I can't just walk off.